to look a lot like race car. Oh, hell yeah. Jump in this thing and see what it'll do.
Ready to rock this, bro?
Oh, hell yeah. It runs and sounds amazing. Now here's the bad part. Remember what I was saying about I wouldn't want to use this block in something I cared about because they bored out a 361 150 thousandths, and the core shift was so bad the paper some of the cylinder walls were paper thin. That oil was not milky white when I put it in there, and there wasn't that much oil when I put it in there to begin with either. So drain the oil and water, block sealer, and try again. I didn't have a whole lot of faith in that block to begin with. I thought it would at least last until I got to the drag strip and beat on it. Stay in one piece ish. Straight water. That's not good. I said there's got to be oil in there somewhere. Here it comes. Here comes the oil. Holy crap. It's still draining. This is gonna take a while. Well, there's no point in going to get block filler or block sealer because it wouldn't have sealed that. Damn you, 361. Yep. I'm in the flooring section to fix the 71 RT's engine. I need me some grout to fill the block. Yeah, so that was some crappy news yesterday. Freaking cylinder wall probably got a crack in it. Now it's just pissing water in the oil pan. So here's my fix. I called Dulcich and I was like, Dulcich, I need your wisdom. The engine's screwed up. He's like, just go get some grout, some acrylic hardener, mix it in a bucket and dump it in. Send it. Okay, I'm gonna do that. So I've got the car jacked up as much as I can with a jack anyway, and jack stands, trying to even out the angle of the cylinder head, which didn't really do a whole lot. Hell, I probably only took 10 degrees out of it, but that's 10 more degrees of grout fillage than I would have had. And I'm just gonna go ahead and do it. If this doesn't work, then I'm just gonna send it down the track with nothing in it. All right, well, time to mix up some grout, dump it down my funnel. I gotta do one side at a time, so I'm gonna fill this side up until it starts coming out of the, I got the engine level. So the engine's all leveled up, so that way hopefully it'll self-level and fill up as much of the block as it can. And as soon as it starts dribbling out of the water pump hole, the lower hole, then I'm done. And I'm gonna leave it like this till probably the end of the day, because I still gotta do brake lines and some other things anyway. And we're just gonna leave it and let it harden up and settle. And then tomorrow, I gotta jack up the other side and do the other side. This side doesn't have a problem, but we're gonna do it anyway because the cylinder walls are so thin, and I kick myself in the ass for not even thinking of this, of filling these cylinder walls with block sealer or block filler before I even put the motor together, because of knowing how thin the cylinder walls were. Dumbass. I've never done it before. Just sitting here waiting for grout to dry inside the passenger block. Might as well change the air bleeds out. When I fired it up and was revving it up, I noticed that it had a slight stumble off idle. So going from 73 air bleeds to 67s should help fix that. So by doing that, by going to a smaller air bleed, what it does is it creates a stronger vacuum on the fuel jet. So that way it'll pull more fuel through the transition slot when it transitions from idle to main jet. So that'll help give me a little bit more fuel and get rid of that. And it'll just be like, "Baba, baba." Well, since the 71 Charger is like hip height, might as well go ahead and mount the battery box, because it's going right there. Look at the angle in that thing, try and get the concrete to settle as much as I could. Well, I know I got a axle seal that's leaking now. That's a perfect way to test that. All right, working on my brake lines now, finally. It's like one of the last things because it's not really all that cool. Unless you're like road racing or circle track racing or something like that, where you do need brakes, this just isn't cool. I'm so glad I bought this tool years ago. It saves so much time having to make brake lines. And it does perfect flares every time. In like 1/10 of the time. Normally I would take like a piece of welding rod and make a template, but I'm just doing a rush deal on this, so I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I know it's got to come out of the distribution block, go about 1 inch, do a 90-degree turn, go up 2 inches, do a 45, and then from there I can figure it out. Okay, the passenger side of the block has hardened up enough with the mortar, grout, whatever you want to call it. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the driver's side, so that way tomorrow I can just fire the block or fire the engine up with no coolant in it, get it hot, and maybe that heat will make the grout like cure faster. So I'm gonna go ahead and pump the driver's side full of freaking grout as well. There's nothing wrong with the driver's side, but seeing as how thin the cylinder walls are anyway, we haven't gotten the engine under a load yet. So all that additional cylinder pressure without the grout maybe would make the cylinder wall go boom. So we're putting grout on the driver's side as a preventative explosion. Been making swirlies for like 20 minutes now, so I'm gonna pull the top oil plug out of the block, pump that sucker with air, and blow out all my swirlies so I can hurry up for oil in this thing. This is going to be the second fastest seat install I've ever done. The fastest was the Super Beater. If you haven't seen that, you should go watch it. But I am going to just weld this sucker in place. Let me check the position. Yeah. I can dig this. Scoot it this way just a tad. Perfect. Changed nothing but welded up. Now I gotta get out without moving the seat. Ah. Today's the day where we find out if we're going to be running this thing down the track wet block or dry block. Just put some K-Seal in it, and I'm putting water in it right now. Gonna fire it up, and I know the level on the oil on the dipstick is right at the full mark. So if anything adds above that full mark, we're officially going to run this thing dry. See that daylight in there? You're not supposed to be able to see that daylight, because my damn sure grip was missing these little pins that go in there, so it actually, I was able to adjust the preload on the axle bearings. There's an adjuster right here that actually adjusts the preload on the bearings. But when it's missing those pins, can't do that. So I'm gonna try and snake those in there with this apparatus, taped together extensions. I hope it works. I don't want to have to pull the pumpkin out, because then I have to put new gear oil in it and all, and re-glue it, and I hope this works. I only taped it halfway around, hoping that if I can get it in the hole and then kind of wiggle this thing around, the tape will break loose. So hope. Ah, I think it went in. Oh shit. Did it work? Yes! It's in! All right, one more to go. That one go all the way in. Time saver attempt, fail. So the reason I couldn't get the other pin in, because the damn pins were too long. So if I get one in, then the other one was too long and stuck out too much, and so now I'm gonna have to pull the third member, shove the axles in, measure the distance between them, and then cut the pins, cut those two pins to length to fit in between there. Shove the pins back in the differential, put the differential back in, put the axles in. Yeah. More time on something. I have no time. I gotta leave tomorrow morning. Oh, I still got so much to do. All right. That's why it wouldn't work. El no goodo. I need to cut these guys down so I can actually put them in that freaking thing so I can get the freaking thing together. Oh, hang on, hang on. All right, go ahead. One second. All right. A little bit more. All right, stop. Hold it. Okay, now I can hopefully adjust the in-play on this thing. Right now, that's too much. Hopefully, it's all the right length. Let me put a little bit of load on this bearing.
So wait till you get done.
Oh, actually, that's too much load. That has too much load on it. So that's a good thing. That means it worked. Now I just need to loosen the nut back here. That feels about right. I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, so one of the last things, well, not the last thing, but one of the last things to do is I gotta modify the brake line, the bracket, so I can use a second gen Charger brake hose, because I couldn't get a 71 Charger brake hose here in time. So, always something. You know what? Whose dumbass idea was to build this freaking car anyway?
It was your idea.
Shut up, Derek. Up. Down. Up. Down. Up. Down. Okay, so skinny front tires are like $400, and I'm like, no. I'm only gonna use this car maybe one time. I'm not spending $400 on skinny front tires. So I'm like, all right, what's the alternative I can use? I'm like, Volkswagens have skinny tires. So I looked up the size of a Volkswagen, which is like a 125, and I'm like, okay, what kind of tires can I use? So I came up with Where is it at? All right, a 125/80/15. And so I ordered them, and they just showed up, like just in time, because tomorrow morning I'm leaving. But I guess I didn't read the full description. Temporary use only. Max speed, 50 miles per hour. Crap. Nobody needs to know that. You didn't see nothing. What's it gonna weigh, Derek?
3,000 pounds.
3,000 pounds? I'm going to say 2,800 pounds. I'm gonna stick with my original guess. But you gotta see this thing. I'll get a better shot out front. It's still kind of, you can't see the whole thing, but we went ahead and slammed out a bunch of little things. Oh, hold on. I can finally do this. I can finally do it. Done. I'm already late. Like, I'm supposed to be at the track already, and I'm 8 hours away from there. So I won't get there till like 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. But I'll be there in time for all the festivities tomorrow. But we're gonna weigh this thing, get some pictures, get the thing loaded, and get the hell out of here. If this was the Price is Right, I won $26.88. So I'm only 112 pounds off. Derek, you're 212 pounds off. Yeah, so this thing is 2,700. What is it? All right, Derek, what is it with me? What's the total weight? All right.
2,878 pounds.
2878 with me in it. Yeah. Probably missed the whole Friday thing altogether, but I know they probably wouldn't have allowed me to run without door bars and without a window net. So we quickly cobbled together those and then put in a rear firewall, because even circle track racing, I'm like, yeah, they're definitely probably not gonna let me run. And so went ahead and got that done, out of the way. It's on the ground, we weighed it. Ugh. We need to go. thing turned out so freaking cool. Better than I thought it was going to. I mean, just admire the ugly beautifulness of this car. And hopefully this thing is fast. We will find out. It looks fast sitting still, but it also looks like it crashed being fast. I'm so glad I'm done working on it. That was way too long. Longer than I really hoped it would have been. And a lot more work, especially when you're trying to be legal to run it down the drag strip. So much other, I mean, can you believe they made me put a rear firewall in it and a window net and door bars? I mean, come on now. I actually kind of love this thing. It just looks terribly awesome. But enough admiring. We really do need to hit the road. Oh, Bolt. Hell, you're the same color. And you got black in you. You're like twinsies.
Chris Birdsong. If you don't know who Chris Birdsong is, you should. Chris Birdsong is about the craziest son of a bitch I think I've ever met. he drove this thing. He trailered it here with his Charger General Lee. Look at this spring shackle mount. This dude is nuts. If you haven't subscribed to Chris Birdsong, you need to do it now.
I'm already a couple beers in and people love this thing. We've already been here for like 2 hours. Just the amount of people that want to come and talk about the car. We just pulled it out of the corral and brought it back over here into the pit. But this thing is bitchin' looking. I think the biggest compliment we get is that. Yeah, I gotta go through tech in the morning. I gotta do an alignment on this thing because the camber's way off and it needs a little bit of carb tuning. I need to go a little bit smaller on the transition slot, I think. And then overall, do some tunage and get this thing race ready for tomorrow. So we had some fun. I got to meet some people, got to meet Pole Barn Garage, a whole bunch of other YouTubers. So we had some fun tonight. Didn't really film anything, just mingled and hung out. Tomorrow is a different thing. Tomorrow's race day. Tomorrow we gotta kick their ass. Oh, Derek, we gotta kick their ass tomorrow. We're here Saturday morning. Just got the carburetor tuned up a little bit, so just get rid of that stumble. Got the alignment done. I had to put the overflow bottle on the radiator, and then now it's up to tech to see what they can fail me on. As long as Derek looks at my face. There you go. Good job, Derek. So I'm gonna jump in this thing, run to tech, see what they could possibly fail me on. I mean, have you seen this thing? This is like NHRA spec, 250 mile an hour car. It's easier to get in on the passenger side. You got your heart monitor on, right?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Stupid drag racing that failed me for a no neutral safety switch. That was my only flaw. So, but I have a fix for that. You're going to love it. Watch this. Wait, shut up. Ready? Alright, watch this. So it's in drive right now. Nothing, no working. Now watch. Haha! Look it right here. That's my switch. When it's in park, the 2 wires work. Disengaged, engaged. Disengaged, engaged. Genius, I know. Alright, so the first pass was a success, even though it wasn't really as fast as I was hoping. It went 12.9 at 104, which 104 means this thing's making no power. But I think because it was just laying over on the top end, like it didn't have any fuel. So we're gonna go way up on the jets, and hopefully that fixes it, because it just went through, and it even, like if you look at the plugs, you won't be able to see it. But it started to burn off porcelain. So that means it was running pretty lean. All right, well, I'm gonna jet it up and we're gonna send it back out there, see what it runs. All right, this is gonna be round 2. Second pass, we picked up 0.2 and 2 miles per hour, so we went in the right direction. It still looks a little lean on the plug, so we're going to throw more jet at it in the front, but it still feels like it noses over on the top, and I'm kind of thinking it might be that ignition box, so I'm going to try and swap it out for another one that I borrowed. So out with the orange, in with the shiny chrome, you know, because chrome makes everything faster.
missing fender guys, missing door guys, missing parts guys. Left-hand side. That's what happens when you're missing half your car. It lights up. You can go faster. 1281 at 105.
I'm sitting in staging right now for the judging. So once we get up there, we'll see if they'll actually let this thing run through.
But this thing is so crazy and it's so incredibly cobbled together. We're going to have to walk you through it because the engineering of this thing is seriously above and beyond. Alright, Birdsong. Alright, here's the thing. Also, he just dared me to say I'll give you $5,000 for it. He will sell this thing for $5,000 to anybody right now, right? Alright, this thing is so cobbled. It is so bashed in the back that the stock leaf spring mount was like pushed almost all the way to the rear seat, and he made his own shackle hanger that is welded to the bashed bumper. That's only where it begins. What are your most proud moments on this thing, Birdsong?
I did leave them some good 71 RT taillight housings. As for engine, it is the worst big block Mopar you can get. It's a 361 with 560 engine. Utter garbage.
And it's 130,000 overboard?
150.
150! So we took a 361 block and basically turned it into a 383.
A 30 over 383. And 2 days before this, the first fire on it, the entire oil pan filled up with coolant.
Tell them about the grout.
Yeah, so I called Dulcich. I'm like, Dulcich, I need your help. And Dulcich, all his wisdom is like, oh, just go to Home Depot and get some of the gray grouts and the acrylic so that way it hardens up nice and shiny and he'll fix it perfect. And I'm like, no way. I did it. Dulcich, the master, he nailed it.
So what he did is he rock blocked the thing. I don't know if you've ever hard blocked an engine. You put concrete in it, but he had to jack the car up all the way over to get the grout to flow to the right spot where the crack was in the block. Now this thing was truly hilarious. What's the other best, worst thing on this car?
It does have some good eBay gauges. I left them the Brembo steering wheel.
Okay.
So, there's some, that adds to some of the pain of paying $5,000 for this car.
He's kind of working this deal backwards. He's like, oh, he's got the valuable tail light bezels on it and the room for a little wheel. Like he's trying to bring it up. Well, that's because he's trying to sell it.
I don't want to take it home, Dulcich.
$5,000 takes it away. Oh, that seems like a mark. Maybe we can work something out, Birdsong. All right, Dulcich is buying the car. This is an absolute 100% positive in for Natural Aspirator. You got to come see this car. It's hilariously terrible. Actually, that carburetor's worth something too. Look, he's getting in the passenger side because it's too big of a hassle to get in the driver's side with no door. The irony, yeah, he's getting old, a lot of miles. You know what, I need these front slot banks is what I need. That has value. Yeah, when Dosage buys it, I'll just get those off you, Steve. Okay, oh, they're mine? Thanks, man. Man, feels it work? Wow, is that bad? That is an absolute pile.
Okay, the judging was pretty good, but they already knew this car. They know how much garbage it is, so they definitely were gonna let it through. Right now, in staging for the NA beater drags. Coming up. Smoked them in the first round. This is something new. The breather blows up just every pass. There's so much crankcase pressure, the breather won't stay on. So I have to tape that thing down or leave it off. Less crankcase pressure, more horsepower.
And the cross-dusting car goes 17, 13, and 81 miles an hour. Chris Birdsong is going to win another one if he can manage not to redline against the V8 Pinto. Birdsong and the Charger RT looking solid in the NA.
We're hoping Birdsong blows his motor right now, so Jeremy's got a chance.
thought the engine blew up. It's just a stupid freaking cheapy eBay oil pressure gauge line. Screwed myself. Yeah, I'm doing the long walk of shame right now. The car's way back there. I gotta go way the hell the other side of the pits. They gotta clean the trackway up. I almost made it to the finals though. Almost. It sucked. The cheapest thing on that car, the cheapest part that I put on there is what screwed me. The plastic oil pressure gauge line. Dumbass. Well, the 71 survived. It ran the weekend. Almost made it to the finals. I was in the semifinals when it blew that freaking oil line. So everybody thought the engine blowed up because they knew how much garbage this car was. But no, it's still running and driving perfectly good. Just gotta load it up and take it home. Yep. But it's not a bad thing because I actually do like the car. I just don't know what to do with it because I got so much other projects. Oh, you shut up, old geezer. Alright, well, we're gonna load this thing up and take her home. But I had a blast. Duct Tape Drags 2023. And Gary over there is just lucky that my oil line blew and he didn't get to get his ass whipped by this 71 RT Charger. Because we had 10 bucks on it and I was gonna take his 10 bucks home.
Is that still on?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad I would have to sit there. It didn't work out.
It is hideous and glorious at the same time. Actually, I think it was like a fan favorite too because I had so much attention with this car. But it'll live to fight another day. Yep, Fool's Gold has actually survived. Despite oiling down the track from people thinking it blew up, it was just the oil line. I even thought it blew up because the entire windshield went poof, blackout from oil. But it did survive somewhat. The engine is hurt though, because when I grout filled it, there must not be a lot of coolant passage to circulate on the passenger side cylinder head, because with a temp gun, that cylinder head is way hotter than the driver's side. And the engine would overheat like instantly. I mean, when I was crossing the line, the finish line at Tucson, the temperature gauge was buried on this thing. And that's why it blew the oil line, is the block got so freaking hot, it melted the line where it went into the block. So, and I ended up taking the car home. Yes, it didn't sell. I'm sure the engine being junk is what was the killer on that, but in a way I'm glad it didn't sell, because now I can enjoy the car more. I can take it to autocrosses, and you know what, we're going to make it faster and take it back to the drag strip, because it actually did pass tech. But this engine is no buenos. I think keeping true to Fool's Gold and this being a budget car, I think we're going to keep everything out of the engine and just throw away the block, because the block itself is junk. It wasn't good to start with. I'm surprised the cylinder walls didn't blow out. They were so paper thin. But we're going to yank the drivetrain out, and then unfortunately the car is going to get dumped in my Arizona property because I have other things to do. So for a while it's going to sit out there. But for right now, we're going to pull the engine out, tear it down, and then maybe throw a better block at it and maybe some better goodies. Make it mucho faster. So, all right, Derek, what do you say? You want to rip this engine out?
Yeah.
The pickup tube and the oil pan are full of bearing chunks. We got pieces of block in the oil pan. This bearing had spun. There's a crack in the cylinder wall. There was no coolant flowing through half the engine. All right, so we have found the crack. Actually, lack thereof crack. You can see where the sleeve stopped. And that's where all the water was coming in. So, yep, it was just a poor sleeve job. This thing would not have made one more pass, even if it went to the finals. I guess it's a good thing it did stop in the semifinals, because it would have scattered in the finals. Description. The 71 RT's old engine, it is grout filled, poor cylinder wall sleeve, the machine work is terrible, the core shift is bad. I literally have no use for this engine anymore because I have a replacement. I had been meaning to pick this engine up for years down in LA from a guy I know, and we finally were able to go get it because we went and picked up that thing. Yeah, you guys know what that is. That's coming up in an episode of Roadkill Garage, not Junkerup. So, but in the meantime, now I have this new 383. Time to dispose of this garbage. Time to dispose of this thing.
You gotta reload the shit right here.
Tell us how you really feel, Leonard.
I just did.